It happens instantly. No warning, no flicker, no gradual dimming. One moment the sun is there, radiating light and heat across the entire solar system, and the next moment it is gone. Not hidden, not blocked, not exploding, simply gone, as if it never existed at all. For the first 8 minutes, nothing changes. Light from the sun, already traveling toward Earth at the speed of light, continues to arrive. The sky still looks normal, daylight continues, and life on Earth carries on without any indication that the source of all energy in the solar system has disappeared. Then, without any visible transition, the lights stop. The sky goes dark instantly, not like a sunset, not gradual or fading, but immediate. Day becomes night in a fraction of a second. The moon, no longer reflecting sunlight, disappears as well. The planets vanish from view. Only distant stars remain, suddenly visible across the entire sky. At the same moment, gravity changes. The sun's gravitational pull is what keeps Earth in orbit, and when the sun disappears, that pull vanishes as well. Earth does not stop moving, but instead continues forward in a straight line, no longer bound to an orbit, drifting into deep space. Temperatures do not drop instantly, but the process begins immediately. Without sunlight, Earth is no longer receiving energy, and the heat stored in the atmosphere and oceans begins to radiate away into space. Within hours, surface temperatures begin to fall noticeably, especially in regions already experiencing night. Electric lights appear across the planet as people react to the sudden darkness. Cities glow brighter than ever before, but the scale of the darkness is overwhelming. There is no sunrise coming, no return to daylight, only an extended night that continues indefinitely. Within the first few hours, confusion spreads globally. Communication systems become overloaded as people attempt to understand what has happened. Scientists confirm the impossible: the sun is gone. As the first day progresses, temperatures continue to fall. The atmosphere retains heat for a time, slowing the rate of cooling, but the trend is clear and unavoidable. Without a constant energy source, Earth is beginning to lose heat steadily. Weather patterns begin to collapse. Winds shift unpredictably as temperature gradients change. The systems that once depended on solar heating begin to break down, replaced by new and unstable patterns. Photosynthesis stops instantly. Plants no longer receive the energy needed to produce food, marking the beginning of a chain reaction that will eventually affect all life on Earth. By the end of the first 24 hours, the average global temperature has dropped, but not yet to extreme levels. The oceans, with their massive heat capacity, slow the process, acting as a temporary buffer against rapid cooling. But this is only the beginning. As days turn into weeks, the absence of the sun becomes the dominant force shaping every aspect of Earth's environment, and what initially felt like a sudden and shocking event begins to transform into a slow but unstoppable planetary collapse. Temperatures continue to fall at a steady and irreversible rate, and without any incoming solar energy, Earth is no longer a system in balance but a world losing heat continuously into the vacuum of space. Within the first week, global temperatures drop below freezing across most regions, and bodies of water begin to respond in visible ways. Lakes and rivers freeze from the surface downward, forming thick layers of ice that expand over time, while the oceans, with their vast heat capacity, resist complete freezing but still begin to develop ice across their upper layers. This creates a temporary insulation effect, slowing further heat loss from the water below, but it does not stop the process entirely. At the same time, atmospheric dynamics begin to shift dramatically. Without solar heating driving convection and circulation, traditional weather systems collapse, replaced by new and unstable patterns. Winds weaken in some regions and intensify in others, as temperature differences between areas create unpredictable pressure gradients. Storm systems, as they once existed, begin to disappear, replaced by a colder and more static atmosphere that behaves in unfamiliar ways. As temperatures continue to decline, the composition of the atmosphere itself becomes affected. Gases respond to extreme cold differently, and over extended periods, components of the atmosphere may begin to condense or settle, gradually altering the structure of the air surrounding the planet. This is not an immediate transformation, but a slow and cumulative process that further destabilizes the environment. Ecosystems begin to collapse in clearly defined stages. Plants, which rely entirely on sunlight for photosynthesis, stop producing energy almost immediately after the sun disappears. Initially, they survive on stored resources, but as days pass, those reserves are depleted, leading to widespread plant death. This triggers a cascading effect throughout the food chain, as herbivores lose their primary food source, followed by predators that depend on them. The collapse is not instantaneous, but it is inevitable, moving through ecosystems with increasing speed. Human survival becomes entirely dependent on technology and infrastructure. Artificial heating systems, energy reserves, and controlled environments become essential for maintaining habitable conditions. Cities attempt to adapt by increasing energy production and conserving resources, while underground facilities, geothermal systems, and nuclear power provide more stable long-term solutions. However, these solutions are limited by scale, resources, and the ability to maintain complex systems under increasingly harsh conditions. As weeks turn into months, the surface of Earth becomes progressively more hostile. Temperatures drop far below freezing in all regions, and large portions of the planet are covered in expanding ice. The oceans, while still retaining some liquid water beneath their frozen surfaces, continue to lose heat, and the thickness of the ice layer increases steadily, isolating the water below from the atmosphere above. Despite these extreme conditions, certain forms of life may persist. Deep beneath the ocean's surface, near hydrothermal vents, ecosystems that do not rely on sunlight continue to exist, drawing energy from the Earth's internal heat rather than from the sun. These environments, already adapted to darkness and extreme conditions, may become the last remaining habitats for life on the planet. Over longer timescales, the transformation becomes even more profound. The atmosphere grows colder and denser near the surface, while the overall system moves toward a new equilibrium defined by the absence of solar energy. The sky remains permanently dark, illuminated only by distant stars, which now dominate the visual experience of the planet. Earth, once a vibrant and dynamic world, becomes a frozen object drifting through space, no longer part of a stable solar system but a rogue planet moving without a central star. Its motion continues, governed by inertia, carrying it through the galaxy as a cold and silent remnant of what it once was. The absence of the sun reveals the true scale of its importance. It is not simply a source of light or warmth, but the foundation of nearly every system that supports life and stability on Earth. Without it, the planet does not explode or vanish, but instead undergoes a transformation that is slower, quieter, and in many ways more unsettling. What makes this scenario particularly striking is not just the severity of the outcome, but the timeline over which it unfolds. Within days, the changes are noticeable. Within weeks, they are unavoidable. Within months, they redefine the planet entirely. The progression from a habitable world to a frozen, lifeless sphere does not take millions of years, but begins almost immediately once the source of energy is removed. In the end, the disappearance of the Sun is not a dramatic explosion or a sudden collapse, but the start of a chain reaction that reshapes the planet step by step, revealing how dependent every aspect of life is on a constant and uninterrupted flow of energy from a star that, until it is gone, feels completely permanent.